The two men vying to become Britain's next Prime Minister, Boris Johnson and Jeremy Hunt, have both defended the right of journalists to publish leaked government documents after police warnings that it could be a criminal offence under the country's Official Secrets Act. Scotland Yard is investigating the leak and publication of secret dispatches by Sir Darroch, Britain's former ambassador in Washington, which were highly critical of the Trump administration. Sir subsequently resigned. Here's our political correspondent, Nick Eardley.
The leaking of Darroch's emails about President Trump has caused diplomatic chaos, political controversy and led to the ambassador's resignation. Now it's caused a furious row about press freedom and what papers should be able to publish. Scotland Yard has warned publishing further leaks could be a crime, last night urging the media to return any documents to the government. But many have raised concerns, including the candidates to be the next Prime Minister.
It cannot conceivably be right that newspapers or any other media organisation publishing such material should face prosecution. It is embarrassing, but it is not a threat to national security, and it is the duty of media organisations to bring new and interesting facts into the public domain.
Well, good afternoon.
Jeremy Hunt said journalists should judge if the leaks are in the public interest.
I think it is also very important to defend in a free society the right of the press to publish material that they think is in the public interest, leaks that they get. It obviously mustn't breach the Official Secrets Act.
Scotland Yard, though, believes it does exactly that. In a statement, Assistant Commissioner Neil Basu said the police didn't want to prevent editors publishing public interest stories. However, we have also been told the publication of these specific documents, now knowing they may be a breach of the Official Secrets Act, could constitute a criminal offence. But again, there's a warning. Journalists can't use the defence of public interest because it just doesn't apply to state secrets. There would still be a public interest test to prosecute, though, and many think that is unlikely.
The only prosecutions we've had are of civil servants who have leaked information to the media. In some circumstances, they've leaked information to MPs. But the media who reported those materials weren't themselves prosecuted. And so it would be very unusual, and I think rather unlikely, that any sort of prosecution would happen.
The leak of Sir Kim's emails has caused headaches for government and curtailed his time in one of the UK's most important diplomatic postings. Now it threatens to pit the police against the press too.
Nick Eardley reporting there. Well, meanwhile, a British newspaper has published more leaks of diplomatic cables from the former ambassador. The Mail on Sunday reveals that in May last year, Sir Darroch said Donald Trump was set upon an act of diplomatic vandalism, unilaterally abandoning the international agreement limiting Iran's nuclear program. Sir accused the president of acting for personality reasons because his predecessor, Barack Obama, had helped to negotiate the deal. I asked the former American ambassador to Canada, Bruce Heyman, whether the latest leaks change the diplomatic situation between the UK and the US.
So when we talk about Iran and these new cables that have come out, I think the UK ambassador came to reasonable conclusions based on what he was seeing in Washington and everything I've heard.
Part of the contents of this new reported leak is that basically Donald Trump pulled out of the Iran deal in order because it was from his predecessor Barack Obama. But there's still a lot of support for what Donald Trump has done within the United States for pulling out of this deal. So is it necessarily an accurate assessment?
I think the word diplomatic vandalism is a new term that I may be using more often about President Trump. You know, he has broken away from agreements with the Paris Accord, with TPP, with DACA, with other things. And so I think that while there are issues with Iran clearly in terms of its behavior around the world, in terms of fomenting terrorism, the work in reducing nuclear risk that we did as agreement is something that is unfortunate the president has put us in jeopardy by walking away from.
But again, there's still a lot of support for what President Trump has done. Has it really just come down to President Trump's personality?
Well, he is definitely a unique character, and he's continuing to isolate our country, and he thinks of himself in the following terms. The art of the deal for him is about his winning. Somebody has to lose.
This further leak, I wonder that it's unclear whether there are more leaks to come. How will the diplomatic community in the US, at least, be reacting to this, especially now that an ambassador has resigned?
I think the fallout as a result of the president's treatment of the UK ambassador will potentially hurt the president's own ambassadors globally. I think he's cutting off the UK ambassador gives other countries, including our allies, tacit approval to shut down communication with US ambassadors if they don't like what they're saying. This is very harmful to the entire diplomatic structure that we have been operating on for many decades.
Former American ambassador to Canada, Bruce Hayman. Do stay with us on BBC News, still to come.